Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. This session is being recorded, so if there are any questions at any point, I'm happy to send the recording out to everyone, and then I'm happy to answer any questions here. So let's go ahead and get started with today's Lunch and Learn. It is on NetSuite, and we'll be talking about distribution series or the distribution edition of NetSuite. And we'll focus today on warehouse management, reporting, and analytics. So before we jump in, just high level on the agenda, go through an introduction of myself. We'll do a little bit of housekeeping, go through the demo itself, and then if there's any Q&A, I'll address those questions. As well as we'll talk about NetSuite as a cloud ERP system and who's Concentrus? How do we fit into this whole ERP space and what NetSuite can do for your organization? With that said, my name is Jesse Guzman. I am the head of our professional services and our ERP practice here at Concentrus. I've been with Concentrus over 11 years. I've done a little bit of everything from project management to implementations of ERP systems, specifically NetSuite, done many implementations and customizations or optimizations for clients throughout the years. My background is in wholesale distribution, services, manufacturing, and construction. And definitely, as much as the system is our, what we know, the system is our expertise. A big part of what we focus on is also on process and change management. Anytime you're looking at an ERP system, it's foolish to think that it's just going to be a plug and play and the whole organization is going to jump on board without there being questions and a whole change management process we have to go through. So we're very experienced in that as well. And without further ado, I'll move forward to the next section, which is our housekeeping. So many of you signed up and were given a $35 Grubhub lunch credit, courtesy of Concentrus. Hopefully you received that via email already. If you did not, please use the chat to send me the information. I may not look at it right while we're on the call, but if you didn't receive it for any reason, send it in the chat. I will look at the notes after and make sure to get that over to you. At any point during the webinar, feel free to submit a question via the Q&A that is in your console there. And all attendees will be muted during the webinar. So again, the Q&A and the chat feature is your best bet to communicate with me. I apologize ahead of time if I don't see your question right away as I'm going through the demo, but if I see it, I will read it, I will address it. Worst case scenario, if I do not get to your question, I have all questions on the webinar and I will respond to you via email with your specific question. So today, in terms of our demo, we're going to talk about NetSuite. Many of you may have never seen NetSuite before. And so I'll go through what the platform is, how to navigate. We'll talk about dashboards, inventory management, order management, warehouse management, and reporting at the end, our analytics. So with that said, and if there are no questions for us to start, I'll dive in. So NetSuite, what is NetSuite? NetSuite is a cloud-based ERP. When you look at it, actually, let me get rid of my little bar here. When you look at NetSuite, it is a system that is capable of managing all of your financial accounting, all of your inventory, order, purchasing, CRM, case management. That's just at the base level. If you're a manufacturer, there's a manufacturer edition. If you have subscription billing, there's subscription billing modules in the system. It can track your fixed assets. It can do your revenue recognition. So NetSuite has been around for 25 years at this point, acquired by Oracle some 7 to 8 years ago. And they've really pumped money into making the system even better. It's used by over 33,000 companies throughout the world, not just the United States. And it is based on a cloud-based architecture, meaning no longer do you have to maintain a server on site, upgrade servers, perform maintenance on servers, or pay to host your own server offsite. The cloud-based ERP of NetSuite means that Oracle is hosting your ERP at their data centers that are a 99.9999% uptime with redundancy across the United States and the world so that you always have access to your data. All you need is an internet connection and a browser, and you are able to access NetSuite from anywhere in the world. I personally have used it for my home office, for my headquarters, at airports, and even at hotels when I've been traveling for work, even for leisure, to access what I need at an instant. So what you see here is the homepage of an administrator. Now, I'm logged in as an administrator so that I can show you all the features of the system, but NetSuite is a role and permission-based system. So what you see here is actually all the different roles and permissions. So I'm going to switch over to another demo environment quickly here. And as it logs in, you'll notice that I have access to many environments, just the nature of what we do as a business. But in each environment, you have different roles. Ideally, most people are going to have one role that they're assigned, maybe two if you happen to be, the administrator at your organization, but you're also, let's say, the COO or the CFO. You might have a different role. In this case, you notice I have many roles assigned to myself. I'm going to take a quick CFO role here. And the idea with the roles is not only are your views set up for your specific role, in this case, a CFO, you'll notice my dashboard changed. And these are all the things that are specific to me. Now, I'll talk about dashboard in a second here, but I want to focus on navigation. The navigation is meant to be very simple. The top menus are focused on what someone in a CFO role would want to see. They need billing, customer, vendor, payroll, financial, and reporting, analytics, and then, of course, any setup that I have access to, AP, AR, sales audits, vendor prepayments. It's all meant to be very simple. There's a search bar here that you can type in anything that you need to find. So inventory, I care about inventory here. Type in inventory and it will show me all results for anything that has the word inventory. I can click on it directly from there. I can navigate to there if I need to see it. Go back to my home page. And with that said, let's jump over and talk about dashboards. So dashboards, the idea of dashboards is that you would have one place when you log in that has the most important information that you need in your particular role. Now, in the case of a CFO, what I have here is a reminders portlet here on the left that reminds me I have 3 purchase orders to approve, 3 expense reports to approve, 1 invoice that's greater than 30 days and greater than 50K. That's important to me. I want to know that. 7 purchase orders to bill, 2 new customers, 6 new vendors, etc. I have tiles up here that will get me to my most important financial reports, balance sheets, trial balance, income statements, budgets versus actual. Key performance indicators that I decided are important are noted here as well. And these are updating real time. Monthly sales trends, income by period trend, our sales on a KPI meter that I could easily change and shift to revenue, shift to payables, shift to inventory, all at the click of a button. Now, the idea of a dashboard is not just to be a pretty page where you can land and show off all the cool graphics that someone has. The idea when we set this up for you is that 75 to 90% of the information that you need as a CFO, as a CEO, as an inventory manager is available in your dashboard. Either information that you need, reminders that you need to be on top of, or shortcuts that make your life easier to get to the reports that you need to get to. Rather than having to drill into every single one of these menus and find the exact report or the exact transaction type that you want to go into, we understand your business to really put this into your dashboards. The dashboards are not meant to be cookie cutter. They're meant to be unique to not only you and your organization. So if you notice, I'm at a CFO. If I change over to an inventory manager in this case, My view will change specific to what's important to an inventory manager. So here, now I see I have 2 tasks that are overdue, 18 orders to fulfill, 16 orders to receive, and 2 RMAs to receive. Obviously, there's a lot more here, but you'll notice my reporting is different. My key performance indicators are different. And not only can I just view the information, I can drill into every single one of these. Here I have 18 orders to fulfill. I can drill in and see what are those 18 orders that I have to fulfill, and the report will take us straight to it. So here we go, it takes me to my fulfill orders page. I see all the orders that I have left to fulfill from a SO, sales order perspective, to a transfer. I can narrow this down to, I just want to see the transfers that I have to get out this week. And there we go. We're narrowed down to transfer orders that we're going to do. And this is transfer orders between our warehouses within the organization. I click on the home, takes me right back to it. And I'm back on my dashboard to focus again on the most important things that I need to do. So you don't have to write a to-do list. You don't have to keep a separate list. These dashboards are super easy to customize. You can drag and drop, move things around. If you have a new search you want to throw in, you throw in the search. Very simple to define. You pick the search that you want to put in here. Let's say in this case, I want to see active purchase contracts. Put a name of it. I just want to see the first 5. I'll go ahead and save that. And there we are. You can see it. I can view them. I can edit directly from this dashboard. Very easy to customize. And again, the most important thing is a lot of people do use these as selling points. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to show you functionality and how it applies to your organization. The idea with the dashboard is not just pretty graphics. It's to be able to use it to be more efficient on a day-to-day basis, for you to drive the teammates within your organization to be able to focus on what's most important and not get sidetracked by email or sticky notes or different to-dos that they have within their day-to-day tasks. With that said, let's jump over to inventory management. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that this is an all-in-one system. It can do, from a base level, it can do all of your inventory management, all of your accounting, all of your order and purchase management. And I'm going to switch over to that initial environment that I was in, just because I've set up some items here that I want you to be able to see. So as part of the navigation, you see, you always have all your recent records here in this little tab here. You can see all the things that you've worked on. I'm logged in again as an administrator just because I want to keep things simple and be able to show you all the features without running into permission issues, because every single one of these roles is either given permission to view something, edit something, or not even be able to see it at all. So in the case of financials, we don't want let's say a shipping clerk to be able to see our financial statements. So we just take that permission away from them, and they don't even know it exists. They can't even get to it. They can't even see it. In this case, I'm going to pick up an inventory item that I was working with. I'm using USB cables. These are 10-foot USB cables. This is the item record that we're able to keep. Keep in mind that there are assembly items, serialized items. If you have serialized inventory, you can maintain serialized inventory in the system. If you are in food and beverage or pharmaceuticals, there is lot tracking with expiration dates to be able to track when your product came in, when it expired, and you can track that all the way down to what POs it came in on, and what customers received either the serial number or the lot number of that. So if you ever have to deal with a recall or you're dealing with warranty and repairs, you have all that information built into the system. In this case, I'm using a simple USB cable. See some very basic information. Don't let this overwhelm you. I have a lot of information being shown on here. Obviously, lots of tabs that show us different information. When we set this system up for you, we remove all the noise. The idea is that you're only going to see, your team is only going to see the information that's relevant to you. The system is built to have fields and information for all types of industries. So you'll see a lot of things, everything from hazmat to obviously who you bought this from, all the different inventory levels that you want to keep. But again, we simplify this to make it easy for your team to use it. And again, based on roles and permissions, we may hide fields from certain roles so that they can't see it. Example, you don't want a shipping clerk to be able to see how much this item costs you, but you do want them to be able to see how much we have. We just hide those fields and they would not have access to them. In the case of this item, what I want to highlight here is that as an administrator, I'm able to see everything from what costing method am I using to what's my current average cost, what was my last purchase price here of $5, and what's our typical purchase price, right? I entered $5 just to, mess with the formula a little bit. But what you'll be able to see here is that we're also able to plan. So in this case, I have two locations. I have my US 2 location and my US 1 location. Now you'll notice in my US 2 location, I set a preferred stock level of 75, a reorder point of 45, a safety stock of 55. And then I can see, based on my inventory, that I only have 31 on hand at this location. I can scroll over to see that I have 30 actually available and only one on an order. So I'm okay at this point, but I'm able to clearly see that I've got some information here that I need to focus on. So I'm going to actually open my US 1 feature. And now this is a little bit of a more advanced screen that I'm showing. Most of the time, it's very simple just on the line item, but I want to show this here. I'm going to say that I've got a preferred stock level of 100, a reorder point of 75, and a safety stock here of, let's just call it 100 to keep it simple. Okay, I'm going to save that. And when I go into the planning side of things, you see this information has now populated. Now, why is that important? Well, a few things. One, the system is going to tell us when we have to order something and make it easy for us to order. So let me jump over to that, and then I'll come back to this page while this is processing. I go to my inventory, I go to order items, I open this on a new tab, and I'm going to say here for my US 1 location, I want to see what I have to order. And here I see that my cables from my preferred vendor, which is Cable Plus Distributors, I have 29 available, none on back order, 2 on order. My reorder point is 75, and my safety stock or my preferred stock is 100. So the system is recommending I order 69 to get us back to this 100 level, keeping in mind what I have on order and what is back ordered and our reorder points. Now, here we saw that I had set this as a preferred price of $5 for this vendor. Well, let's say we got a price increase and it's $9.03. I can change that here. I can also change the quantity. Let's say I don't like 69 as a number. I'm going to change it to 70. I like whole numbers instead. And there we are. I'm able to update. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to actually keep it really small. I'm going to lower it down to 5. See our quantity changes. And we hit submit. This will then bring in a purchase order for us. So this is going to work in the background to create a purchase order. You see it's in progress. Keep in mind, from that order items page, I could have gone through every single item, regardless of the vendor. I would have put the information that I want in terms of the quantity, process them, and the system would be smart enough to consolidate everything coming from Cable Plus Distributors into one PO, and all the other vendors that I had, it would create individual POs that can be sent automatically to our vendors. So while this is processing, we see a PO has now been created. I can open the PO. This PO can be sent automatically to our vendor. We have a purchase order here now in the system, and I'm going to pause there in terms of the purchase order because later in the demo, I'm going to show you how we can use WMS to receive this purchase order. Now, I can receive it from the UI as well. In my previous editions of our Lunch and Learn, I showed how to receive it from a desktop if you simply have a receiving clerk that has a workstation that they can come in and receive. But a lot of times we're using WMS, and that's what we want to look at. So I'm going to slide back here to my inventory item. I'm going to refresh it. And what I'm going to take a look at now is from this inventory side, I can now see that I have 7 on order because I ordered an additional 5. I can also go in here and look at my related records and quickly see I'm filtered down to purchase orders. Let me reverse the date here and show that my purchase order here with today's date, sorry, I had some purchase orders with future dates, but today's date is here, our 619 purchase order for 5 units that we have on here. Okay. Now, inventory detail wise, the system I mentioned to you earlier can track serial numbers, lot numbers, but 2 things I did not mention are bins, so locations within your warehouse. In this case, you see at our US 2 location, we have 15 units in our AO0101 bin location with a status of good. What does status mean? You're able to set inventory statuses like good, like refurbished, like damaged, or like in QC. So we see we have 2 locations here, each have 15 units, both in the good status. And I have a staging location where I have an item that's in a QA status, 1 unit. So when I received this, I decided I needed to have 1 unit to go to quality assurance, and that's being QA'd, and then that can be moved over. I can also narrow this down and then look at it and see, okay, in total, I have, by inventory status, I have 29 good at my US 1, I have 30 good at my US 2, and I have 1 in QA. Now you'll notice I don't have bin numbers for my US 1 location. And part of that I want to show you is we never actually put them away. So I'm going to go show you this through the UI. I'm going to select our US 1 location. We see the 29 units there. I'm going to go ahead and put this in a location at US 1. I'm going to select here. I'm going to say that this is at Z1 PB01, 29 units, all in the good status. I'm going to leave them as good status. Hit OK, hit save. Again, this could have been done through the WMS. I'm showing you through the UI. We go back to our inventory item. We refresh this item. And now when I go into inventory detail, I can clearly see now that at my US 1 location, I have 29 units at Z1 PB01. Let's take a brief pause on inventory management and let's talk about order management. So order management, we already talked about inventory. We already talked about purchase orders. All of your orders are also managed directly here in NetSuite. So we can take this from the very beginning as a CRM and create opportunities for leads and prospects that we have. And we can create opportunities, we can create quotes, which eventually become either sales orders or they can become cash sales. So let's say you have a storefront and you are taking cash payments for them or credit card payments or whatever the case. We can take those as a one-stop checkout process. So I don't have any quotes created here to be able to show, but what I do have is a lot of sales orders. And so again, these sales orders, when we create them, I'll open up a few different ones that we've created previously. What we have is the customer information, all relevant information. And again, as I mentioned on the purchase orders and on the inventories, there's a lot of information shown here that doesn't have to be in your final system. We will hide these. You notice there's an ability to customize this form, add new fields as you see fit. We will help you, first of all, set that all up, but also teach you how to manage that in the future so that you can maintain this on your own. But here we see we have a kit that we've added for 1 item, 1 quantity, 1 is committed. We have 30 available, but we haven't picked, packed, fulfilled, or invoiced this order. We can see that it's shipping to their San Mateo location. This is going with UPS. We have the billing information. In this case, this goes to Maria Rogers on net 30 terms. And then if we wanted to here, we can show what our gross profit would be. And in this case, I don't have any costs associated to this kit. Therefore, we're showing 100% gross profit. Related records, in this case, we'll talk about WMS. This is put into a wave. You can tell it's put into a wave in 2024. So we're way ahead of ourselves. This comes into the WMS process. And you can see here, many orders. We can just manage the orders one by one. Here's a different item. that we're looking at, and we can manage multiple items and see all that information here. Eventually, these sales orders make it into item fulfillments. So they get fulfilled and we're able to see the fulfillment. So give me a second here to open up our fulfillments. And this I'll highlight with the use of WMS as well, but I want to show you here what ends up happening to these orders when they go into a fulfill state. So let's close out a bunch of these tabs that we don't need. And here you see these are all orders that we have either picked, packed, or shipped. So we have 3 different statuses. We've picked them, we've packed them, and we've shipped them. So these are orders that are picked here, and they're pending to be packed. These are orders that are now packed, assuming that you have a separate packing station where you have a set of pickers that go with the WMS. They go to the locations, they pick the orders, they leave it at a packing station where the associates can now come in and pack these into the right size boxes and get them ready for shipping, apply a shipping label, like in this case, a UPS shipping label, and then eventually get them shipped out in a ship status here. Now, what I want to highlight as well, if you notice here, there are tracking numbers. NetSuite is fully integrated natively into FedEx, UPS, and USPS. So what does that mean? That means you don't need to go to UPS World Ship, FedEx Ship Manager, or your stamps.com website to create these labels. Your associates can do all the work directly from NetSuite. And what that ends up meaning is that your UPS account, your FedEx account is tied into NetSuite. The rate that you get charged is based on your pre-negotiated rate with those carriers. And what we end up getting is a tracking number that feeds directly into the system and labels that print directly from NetSuite to your Zebra printers, which we configure for you. So your picking lists, your packing slips, and your shipping labels all print directly from NetSuite into a Zebra printer of your choice in case of the labels, the packing slips into a laser printer of your choice, and makes it very simple for your associates out in the shipping area, the picking area, to do their work, print the labels, slap them on, and get them shipped. And again, this is a demo environment, so this is a dummy tracking number. But for all of your associates who are on the customer service side, you want to be able to send an email to your customer saying this is shipped and here's a tracking number. All can happen directly through NetSuite. Now, we talked about orders and how orders get in. Obviously, I showed you manually keyed orders, but NetSuite is a complete open API system. So if you're selling on Amazon, eBay, you have a Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce website, or you can even leverage NetSuite's Suite Commerce Advanced, which lets you build your own website. Those can all be integrated into NetSuite. So while you're getting orders from Shopify, from eBay, from Amazon, they are feeding into your NetSuite environment so your associates can complete those orders and then talk right back to those merchants and let them know that those orders have shipped so they can communicate with your clients. So this is an all-in-one system that can feed into any number of systems that you have. With that said, let's jump over to warehouse management. Now, I'm not going to dive in all features of warehouse management. There is so much to cover with WMS, so I'm going to give you the high level. We've talked about what we can do here on the UI. So this is assuming your associates have a desktop computer or a laptop or even a tablet that they're at a station. They're able to come in, click through these fields, mark things as picked, packed, or shipped, and grab the information. Now, that works well for simple operations, smaller warehouses where they're not having multiple pickers go to multiple locations throughout the warehouse to find inventory and to bring it and have a different team that packs and ships it. Now, in those scenarios is where we bring in WMS. I'm going to show you NetSuite's WMS that they have as a module that you can purchase with NetSuite. But keep in mind that, again, because NetSuite is such an open system and connects to so many different third-party applications, NetSuite WMS is one option, a fantastic option, and there are other WMSs that can feed right back into NetSuite. So if you already have a WMS that you like and you want to keep that with NetSuite, probability is that you can continue to use your NetSuite, your WMS, and feed the information right back into NetSuite. We do those kinds of implementations all the time as well. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to switch to a different role called a mobile operator. So as a mobile operator, you see my view is very different. I don't have a whole lot of information here that I can drill into, but most importantly, what I want to get into here is my mobile emulator. I'm going to emulate what they would see on a tablet or on a phone. Now, the teams we work with, they usually have a nice little strap on their wrist with a phone and a Bluetooth scanner that they associate to that. And that's all they need. This obviously is built for mobile application. So you're seeing it here emulated on my desktop, but they would see this on their screen. It works really well. You'll notice right when we start, when we're talking about WMS, there's actually 3 parts of WMS. There's the WMS piece, which is all your inventory movement, all your inventory management. So this is receiving orders, picking orders, transferring, doing inquiries into where inventory is and replenishments. That's the WMS side of things. The Ship Central is where you go and you pack and you ship your orders. Again, without having to go into the UI, the team is able to find out what's already been packed, be able to put the weight, put the carton that they put this into, print out packing slips, and print out shipping labels directly from this WMS, which again is associated to a packing station where your Zebra and your laser printers are associated. Now, most of the time, people using the Ship Central option, usually they're at a more fixed station, so they're not necessarily doing it from mobile, but it is possible if you had mobile teams moving around, okay? And then, of course, Smart Count is for your inventory, physical counts that you want to make sure that you are doing guided counts based on fastest moving inventory, and then the system can not only make adjustments for you, but also recommend when you do replenishments. Let's jump into WMS. Keep in mind, my navigation of the system is going to be on a mouse click version because that's just the feature that we're using right now. But keep in mind that your team would be using a handheld, clicking with their finger, being able to move through these menus. So here I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at purchase orders. Again, you're usually using a scanner. So if you've got a scanner where you can scan the PO number or the item or the barcodes that you have on your documents, that will work just fine. I'm assuming I'm clicking here. But here we have that PO 619 that we had created. So your purchasing team has created the PO. The receiving team has been made aware that a PO is coming in, and they see PO 619 has arrived. And so they go in and they're going to start the receiving process. So I'll click on the PO here. And it's going to load up the items on the PO. So here we have the items we ordered. We've received 0, and we have 5 remaining. So again, most of the time you're going to scan the item. Your items will have barcodes, UPC numbers that we input into the system, and the system associates to the item. And we go ahead and we select the item here. So I've selected the item. It's going to prompt me to the next page. And the next page is going to ask me, well, how many did you actually receive? And what status are they in? So in this case, I'm going to keep them in the good status, and I'm going to say I actually got all 5, right? If you had labels that you want to print, you can print them directly from here. These are your item labels. If you wanted to print those, we coordinate and configure that to a Zebra printer. Obviously, we set up your barcode type as well. You can print those out, but for the purposes of our demo, I'm going to go ahead and enter just the quantity. Now, where are we putting this? Where are we going to drop this off in the warehouse? Now, there's 2 schools of thoughts here. There is a 2-step receiving process, and there's a 1-step receiving process. The way I'm set up here, I'm set up for a 2-step, meaning first, I offload either many times containers, and I put everything into a staging bin, and there's a separate team that comes in and actually does the put away. That's what I have set up here. and I'm going to select, let's say, stage bin 2. You see this at larger warehouses where you have 2 different teams doing the receiving and one doing the put away. And I'm going to say, tell the system, I want to put this into stage bin 2 or staging area 2, which is a designated area in my warehouse. So now you see, I'm done here. I've received it. When I go to this inventory item, which I'll have to change my role here to be able to see, we will see a few things. So first, I'm going to go to the item. Second, I'm going to go to the purchase order. And what you're able to see here, now under inventory detail, I'm able to see that in my staging area at US1, in the good status, I have 5 items. So it's already there. When I look at my PO, this PO now doesn't ask me to receive it. It's saying that it's ready to bill. So it's pending billing. Now you can create a vendor bill. Not, this is likely a different role that has a reminder on their dashboard that says, hey, we've got a PO that was received, and I'm sure you've got a vendor bill. We've got to create this vendor bill to get this paid, right? You now see the PO. It's showing quantity 5. 5 are received. Again, no bill is created. If I create a bill by clicking on this button, that's what we'll do. And then when I go to related records, what we did in the WMS is now reflected on the UI, where you see an item receipt that was created. And in this item receipt, we're able to see we got this item, 5 of them. And if we look at the inventory detail on the UI, you don't need the WMS. You can clearly see we put 5 items into the IB stage 02. So again, all interconnected. Let's head back to our mobile app here. And I'll go to the main menu. And in my main menu for WMS, I can receive, I can do inventory, I can do work orders. So if you've got a manufacturing site and you want to pick work orders, we can do that from WMS. Same concept. You've got a new work order. You've got to get the components issued down to the work order production station. You use WMS to get it picked. And then, of course, we can pick sales orders. In this case, sales orders or transfer orders. We can go in, see if we've got any transfer orders to do. We've got 2 transfer orders. Go ahead and click on this transfer order. It's telling me I've got some items here that I've got to grab. So I'm going to grab this first item. Oh, I recall what this is. Actually, I apologize for that. Let's actually close this out. Switch back my role. Again, roles are very, very important in NetSuite because it allows you to do certain things or not do certain things. So I'll open up the mobile emulator again. Let's start a new session. Go again to WMS. In this case, I'll make a decision that rather than receive, I want to pick. We'll do single orders. The idea of release versus unreleased orders is as we go into the configuration of your WMS, we actually have the system release the orders by priority so that your pickers are not guessing what they have to do next. This is going to show up on their queue, and they're going to be able to say, oh, I've got a new set of orders that I've got to pick and go on to my next pick task. So here we're going to select TO29. Here it's asking me, what bin am I grabbing from? And you see here, I've got multiple bins. So it's recommending that I go to this bin. And as a picker, I would go to this bin and grab from the recommended bin. But let's say I get there and for whatever reason, there's a pallet blocking or it's taped off because there was a spill and I need to get to the next location. And so I can't get to 01, 02 is too close. I see I have 303 at 05. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. I'll scan the item and I'll say that I'm going to pick 12 of these because I have enough. I'll enter the quantity. Okay, now we're going to enter a carton number. So basically, what carton are we going to scan this into? So I'm going to call this CTN01. Usually what you have is you have some sort of bin or basket that you're using to transport this or a carton number that you put this into. Okay, And now you see our pick task is complete. And we're going to say, go put this into staging. Where do I want to leave this? I'm going to leave this at pack station number 2. And there we are. So that has now been picked. It's at pack station number 2. As a picker, I'm done. Now the packing team is going to pick this up and do the necessary steps to ship it, which we would then go to our main menu, switch applications, go to our Ship Central, and then start the process of packing that transfer order for shipment. I'm actually not going to go through this whole process here. We're going to back out a little bit, and I just want to go high level again, show what's possible. So we have the ability to pack, we have the ability to ship different shipments directly from here, or we can go into the smart count feature and start counts. Now I haven't configured all of this, but what this would do would be able to guide you in what inventory you should be counting. Now, I want to bring this all back to the WMS. The WMS is the key part here. You don't have to go buy another third-party product if you don't want to. In our case, we can use this directly from the NetSuite WMS. And you see here, you can do your bin transfers, you can do your replenishments, cycle counts, which is a little different than smart counts. You can create inventory directly from here if you give them permission to do so. So adjustments, inventory transfers, change inventory statuses, and of course, you can go back to our main menu. So I'm going to take a brief moment to then talk about reporting and answer any questions that folks may have. So if you have any questions, remember, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. If you want a copy of this recording, please make sure to send me a message and we can go through here. But let's jump back over to the system. I'll get out of my mobile operator view, and I'm going to log actually back into my actual user on the desktop. So out of the box, NetSuite is built with all types of reporting, from inventory profitability to snapshots, current inventory valuation, and of course, one of the most important ones we have is our inventory turnover. See how quickly inventory is turning over. Oh, sorry, let me make a quick adjustment here to my view. I know exactly what this is. Just some restrict view. Just some prerequisites that we have to meet to be able to see that. It wants to know where I'm looking at the reporting from. So able to open this up. This is showing our inventory turnover, our current costs, average value, turnover rates, average days on hand. And all of these reports can be customized. Here, I can show by location, refresh it, but I can go in and customize this even further. There's categories to inventory. I hit the customize button, simple as adding a category on here. So you see we're looking at assembly inventory items, but let's say I just wanted to look at assembly items, right? I can put a filter in place to then be able to only look at assembly. Same thing with inventory items. And from our reporting, we can export to Excel, PDF, CSV, Word, if you want to, very uncommon. You can print it, you can email it directly from here. But the biggest feature that I love is the schedule. So there are many reports that we just want to be able to see. Now, if I don't have it on my dashboard, because I want to look at it every day, let's say I want to send this to key stakeholders in the organization on a weekly basis. Let's say every Monday morning when they walk in, I'll put a 6 a.m. scheduled send time, and the system will automatically send it to them so that they have access to this report as soon as they walk in on Monday morning, and they can run with either this inventory report, or if we're going into financials and we want to start looking at AR aging, AP aging, all of that, we can have that be fed to your team so that they have the information at their fingertips. That's without saying that when they log into their dashboards, they're already going to have a dashboard that's telling them exactly what they need to look at and what they would work on as soon as they walk in. There's so much more we can go into reporting. Um, so many reports from sales tax to forecasting, pipeline analysis for your CRM side, folks. So keep in mind, NetSuite is a system that is built for all roles. And at the core of it, it was originally called NetLedger. It is an accounting system at its core that has built in all the other functionality over 25 years. Great improvements that are done year over year and making it easier to use for your team. Now, if there are no questions, what I'll jump into is talk a little bit more about what I was saying about NetSuite, right? It was really the first true ERP on the cloud. You're talking about 1998, before the cloud even really existed. The idea was we can host something on the internet so that business owners can have access to their information anywhere they are. It works not just for one subsidiary. Many people who are using QuickBooks are used to, you have to have one subsidiary, one instance per subsidiary. You can have as many subsidiaries as you want in one environment in many countries working on multiple currencies. You can manage intercompany transactions directly in the system with elimination journal entries all built into the system. So you're not having to do these manual journal entries. We can set up the system to already automatically do those elimination entries. Let's say if your manufacturing is one subsidiary, your purchasing is another, and you are purchasing directly from that manufacturer, you would have an intercompany transaction create that would automate that whole flow. So you're not doing things in two different systems, all in one. The system continues to grow. 36,000 plus customers worldwide. Just attended the latest conference for NetSuite. It's called Suite World. Took place in Las Vegas. A lot of amazing things coming with the introduction of AI that's going to make running your business even easier. A lot of things that I showed manually, the system is going to start to recommend and automatically do for you. We can already do a lot of that through customizations and workflows. If you tell me I've got a process that always happens, we build it into a workflow, saves your team time. Now, what about Concentrus? Who's Concentrus? So Concentrus is a value-added reseller of NetSuite and another great cloud-based ERP called Acumatica. Now, what that means is that we not only sell the license, we do your implementation. And that is a huge difference between buying direct from publishers. Now, publishers, they have teams that can do this. In this case, let's talk about NetSuite. And the biggest thing I hear from our customers is, I wish we would have found a partner like Concentrus or any other partner. I know there's other great partners out there like us to do my implementation because I love the system, but the team doing it didn't really seem to understand our business. And that's where Concentrus comes in, because we will give you the same exact price in the license that the publisher will, and we'll make sure that your implementation gets done right the first time, so that in the long run, you save money by getting up and running and using a license that you're paying for. So we do implementations. As I mentioned, we get a lot of calls from people who already bought NetSuite or Acumatica, and it's not going as expected, and they want us to come in and help get them to the finish line. So we do a lot of those projects as well. And once you're on there, we offer all kinds of support, additional integrations, training, and really our goal is to meet our clients where they need us, and we'll be there for you at whatever stage you are, from getting you live to helping you with support up front to training your team to be self-sufficient in the long run. As an organization, we also offer AP automation. So when you're ready to discuss AP automation, we can use your system to help you automate that AP process. And we also offer digital mailroom and document digitization services. So we'll take your paper copies and we'll digitize them for you. So we do a lot of that business as well. With that said, if you have any additional questions at any point, feel free to email me. My email is here on the screen, jesse.guzman@concentrus.com. You can call me directly. Happy to answer any specific questions. And if there's something you didn't see on the demo that you'd love to see, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to create a custom video for you or even show you live on the spot about how it could be used in your environment. Look forward to hearing from you. Hopefully I answered some of the questions you may have had about NetSuite. And if you want to talk about what it would look like in your organization, obviously feel free to reach out. Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking with all of you soon. Bye.